Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by IGS Energy. Take control of your natural gas and electricity costs and enroll today at IGSenergy.com. By Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Find a local agent on Nationwide.com. By your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Huntington. At Huntington, you can bank like a real fan. Get your Blue Jackets debit card at bluejacketsbanking.com. It's a hockey night in Central Ohio, and the Blue Jackets and the Oilers will conclude their brief two-game season series. As we mentioned, Sergei Bobrovsky between the pipes tonight once more for the Blue Jackets, and his former teammate in Philadelphia with the Flyers, playing his second game ever for Edmonton, Ilya Bryzgalov, coming off that shutout win in Nashville last night. Oilers wearing their traveling whites. They'll start their top line, the kid line, against the Jackets' top line. Sharon Kozeri are tonight's referees, Pancic and Amel, the linesmen. Jackets wearing their home blues. Tonight's telecast presented in high definition by Time Warner Cable. We are set for the opening faceoff, and the draw won by Johansson. Here played by Jack Johnson. Johansson held in check. Jackets play it back, and it's Tootin who sends it in. Petrie paired with Ference. Handed to Nugent Hopkins, who is riding a point-scoring streak extended last night to 4 games, and an interference penalty here upcoming, and it's only seconds into the game. I might add that
1:38, 2 minutes interference.
Interference against Jenner. It was 3 for 4, the Oilers on the power play in Edmonton 10 nights ago.
Well, you can see, again, Boone Jenner going along the wall, again, impeding the progress. You have to allow that player his space, and he was just about a second late.
Well, speaking of seconds, that penalty came at the 22nd mark. Edmonton's power play, 12th in the National Hockey League at 20%. Jackets on the kill, 23rd at 78.2%. They've given up 17 power play goals, and again, 3 of them in Edmonton 10 nights ago. Calvert able to knock it free. Perron, who had a big night against the Blue Jackets, 2 goals and 2 assists in that game on the 19th of November. Perron knocked down by Calvert. Good aggressive forechecking by the Jackets. Jack Johnson finishing the check there on Taylor Hall, and it's thrown up the near wall by Letestu. Bryzgalov will play it quickly. Justin Schultz out-muscled for that puck along the wall by R.J. Umberger. Very aggressive here on the kill, and that's great to see here in the early moments from the Blue Jackets.
And that's what they need to do, Jeff, right away. Man up, get in their face, and again, start taking the body.
There's a quick shot, shorthanded, and Johansson ripped it wide. R.J. Umberger back in between the 2 benches. Jackets, again, very aggressive here. Short-handed, Wisniewski walks in. Shot is blocked by Yakupov. Moved up and effectively into Columbus territory. Ryan Smith looking to pull the trigger. A goal and an assist. Bobrovsky to stop, and the rebound shoveled away by the Jacket defenders in front. 37 seconds remain in the Jenner penalty.
The third key of this game tonight is, again, be aware of the blanket.
Stretch
right now,
pass.
they are going to be all over you. You've got to make sure you get pucks through.
Here is Gagne, walks to the top of the circle, off a leg, Hemsky to play. Fired in front, backhanded, out of the net, Bobrovsky. Fortunately, the Jackets were able to hold off the Oilers there. Final 12 seconds of the power play. This is not what you wanted to give Edmonton any kind of momentum. Easy for me to say early on. And now Jenner standing at the penalty bench, down to 2 seconds. He will step out. The Jackets are 1 for 1 on the kill, and that is an important kill by the Blue Jackets here in the early moments of this hockey game. Nick Schultz tying up Anisimov. Moving up. The Oilers through the neutral zone. Shoveled ahead there by Arcobello. He did not play in the previous meeting between these 2 teams. Arcobello pressuring. Heels it back to the point. Grabeshkov. Shot blocked. Atkinson gets it ahead there to R.J. Umberger. Jackets dump it in. And Grabeshkov back to make the play. Sidesteps a hit from Atkinson. Arcobello tosses into the near corner. Jones lurking, but Umberger able to play it to Atkinson as he fell, fired a shot on that far side and just missing. That near corner. Prout with a thundering hit along the wall. Arcobello drops it back. Moving up now. The Oilers out of the zone, and it's Jones dumping in. Johansson first on the forecheck. He'll now race off to the bench. Puck tossed into Jackets territory. 3+ minutes got here in this opening period as Foligno chips in. Petrie pressure. Foligno steps into him. Hall deals cross ice. Ference jumping up. The Oilers captain denied entry into Jackets territory. Nice move by Foligno to walk around the defenseman and tried to send it in front. Hall able to steal. Eberle drops it back. Ference joining the rush on to Taylor Hall. Hall riding a 5-game point streak. 7 points in the last 5 games. Ference up high. Deals to Petrie. Petrie off a stick and wide. Eberle plays it in the corner. 5 goals in the last 5 games for Eberle. Eberle trying to walk to the front of the net. Jackets defend, and it's Wisniewski to play it. On to Ryan Murray as we approach the 5-minute mark. Pretty good pace to this opening 5 minutes of the hockey game. Boyd Gordon drops it back for Petrie. Lead pass for Ryan Smith, who waits for it on the ricochet. Steered deep into Jackets territory. Perron pressuring. There's Gordon. Smith, Perron cycling out of the corner. Matt Calvert tying him up. It's played there by Wisniewski. Hard off the boards. Into neutral ice, and Isimov will sweep it the rest of the way.
Well, what you like right now as a coach, you look down the bench, you've almost got everybody on the ice. Fourth line has yet to see the ice, but what you do see, good skating, they're handling the puck, not too many turnovers. You've got to minimize that.
All right, let's check out tonight's Toyota Keys as we get a look at Todd Richards, presented by your Central Ohio Toyota dealer.
You better be ready to skate. Again, knowledge is 9/10 of this equation tonight. The Oilers love to skate, and you better match it. Puck management, spend time in the Oilers zone, get it behind the defense and pressure, and then beware of the blanket that I just mentioned. The Oilers love to be able to block shots. You have to be aware, get the puck wide. If you can't shoot it directly to the net, utilize the backboard and then deflect.
Oilers dictated play in Edmonton, and Coach Richards wants his Jackets to go after them. Get in their face, hit them, don't let them freewheel, and try desperately to keep them hemmed in their own zone. Forcing turnovers. Yakupov, far side of the ice. Yakupov throws it in front. Bobrovsky got a stick on it. A scramble in the paint, loose puck, and Bobrovsky's able to send that one wide. Anxious moments in front of the Columbus net. You do not want to allow this team to skate and freewheel. And again, the Oilers move up ice. Nick Schultz across the line. Jackets come up with it. Jack Johnson fails to clear. Oilers dump it deep, and they will change things up. They flew to Columbus. It wasn't a late night from Nashville. Lost an hour's sleep. I feel they've got it all going for them. Many of them not even showing up here at the rink this morning. Nikitin back in the lineup after missing that Nashville game. Redirected and wide of the net. Turned around with Arcobello. Jackets in the high slot. Boone Jenner. Jenner fires a shot that misses the mark. Jackets. Good work keeping the puck deep in Edmonton territory. Ryan Johansson, who had a glorious scoring opportunity on the first shift. Back for Nikitin again. Knocked down there by Jenner. Boone Jenner deals to the point for Prout. Floats one in. Deflected and wide. Arcobello. Left wing. It's moved by Johansson into Jackets territory as we approach the 7-minute mark. Johansson dumps it in deep. Jackets' newest player, Trop, jersey number 26. First shift as a Blue Jacket. Fourth line out there, shot by Skilly, who has really stepped up his game, given an opportunity to play. He may have been the Jackets' best forward on Wednesday night against Nashville. No score here in the first period. A look at the respective coaches. And with that picture up there, Dallas Eakins, Todd Richards. Why don't we check out tonight's Elk and Elk injury report?
Well, the number one thing, take a look at the man's games lost. And you can see Edmonton, 136. The Jackets, 91. But again, you talk about identities of the team. Dubinsky, you look at McKenzie, Bull. That's why you have a kid like Trop into the lineup tonight to be able to fill that need. And he'll be vying for a spot on this hockey team. First shift so far, Corey Trop, pretty solid.
Left wing feed goes off Ryan Smith. Wisniewski. Right wing feed for Skilly. Redirects it deep into the zone. Brizgalov going for a little walk. Tends to do that and sometimes gets caught out of position. Something to keep an eye on here tonight. Chaput dumps in. And again, it's Brizgalov out to play the puck. And left there for Ference. approaching the 8-minute mark. A scoreless first period. Ryan Smith taken out of the play by Jack Johnson. Feder Tootin gets there ahead of Nugent Hopkins. Cam Atkinson, right wing, leading the rush. Atkinson dances through and across the line. Pulls the trigger there. The shot is blocked. Belov getting in front of it. Atkinson right back on that puck. Sends it off the side of the net. Jackets can't play it. It's Taylor Hall away at center. Hall through and across the line. He's got Eberle and Nugent Hopkins with him. Turns it over. And Calvert across the line. Waits for reinforcements. Calvert now showing patience to Atkinson in the corner. Trying to dance free and away from Schultz. Nugent Hopkins there at the goal line. Jackets get it back. Johansson. He shoots and scores. Ryan Johansson continues to lead the Jackets offensively. Johansson for his 9th goal. And the Jackets recover a turnover and take the 1-0 lead.
Well, the Jackets did a nice job, and they come through the neutral zone with speed, and Matt Calvert, you can see he curled up inside the line. What do you get? You get the secondary flow. That forces the Edmonton Oilers back on their heels, and it creates a little bit of space, not only high, but especially low. And you can see Johansson coming out and letting that wrist shot go, and he goes high over top of Brzgalov, and the Jackets a much-needed 1-0 lead.
Johansson came close on the shorthanded situation. But there, make no mistake, a tremendous wrist shot beating Brzgalov from the doorstep. And the Jackets keep the pressure on. Boone Jenner behind the net for Johansson. Johansson keeps the feet moving away from Justin Schultz. Deals to the point. Nick Keaton rimmed around the wall. Nick Foligno. Foligno on to Johansson for Boone Jenner. Atkinson picks up an assist on the goal, as does Matt Calvert, who started all that play. It was on that turnover that he walked into the zone, pulled up, waited for reinforcements, and the Jackets had the pressure on deep in Edmonton territory, which is exactly what Coach Todd Richards talked to us about this morning. 1-0, Jackets lead. Mark Leicester hammers in. Oilers control. Rebeshkov. Outlet pass. UNC. Offside. And with 8 minutes, 58 seconds left, we get a whistle. And we'll remind you, as you enjoy a cold one, watching us here on Fox Sports Ohio, to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Face-off outside the zone. The draw is won by Arcopello. And rifled into Columbus territory. Off that backboard, Wisniewski quickly and alertly plays that puck. Jackets look to send it out of the zone. They'll try again. Corey Trop, the right-handed shot on that left wing. Acquired and a waiver deal yesterday from the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo expected to get Trop through the waiver process and send him to Rochester. As Ted Nolan said, following the waiver claim, we wanted to send him down. We thought we could sneak him through and get some more ice time in Rochester and prove that he is part of our hockey club for the foreseeable future. But Trop did not get through waivers. And the Jackets are happy to have him. And Trop looking for a new beginning here in Columbus.
Well, Jarmo Kekalainen had a chance to watch him throughout that entire year, and in that 2007 draft was a name that kept ringing in his mind, and he now is a Columbus Blue Jacket.
Oilers, Perron across the line, chopped away from him, but following through Nugent Hopkins, can't make the play. Jackets chip it up, but not out. Leicester able to get it outside that blue line. Good work by Umberger to out-muscle Ryan Smith. Comes in off the wing and tried to feed the Jackets Como, who was camped in front of the net. But Belov able to get a stick on it. And now Nugent Hopkins through and across the line. Hall lurking along the left wing. Rebeshkov had moved in. He was just recalled from Oklahoma City. He'll play it up high. Jersey number 37. Cross ice, a wrist shot. Knocked down in front. Eberle trying to shovel it back and does. Justin Schultz denied, and Hall unable to play the rebound. Big rebound given up there by Bobrovsky. R.J. Umberger. Umberger will lift it up and out. Rebeshkov hustles back into his own zone. No icing call here. And Rebeshkov with the head up. Drops it back. Played by Sam Gagner. He, too, with a big night on the 19th against the Jackets in Edmonton. We'll step aside, but as we go to break, one more look. Ryan Johansson with a wicked wrist shot. It's 1-0 Columbus.
Well, there is a look at Corey Trop, again brought in on waivers from the Buffalo Sabres. And we mentioned a third-round pick of the Buffalo Sabres. Played college hockey at Michigan State University, one of the most highly touted young men during that courting period. He visited Ohio State, Ferris. He was going to go to Miami. He had no interest whatsoever in the University of Michigan. But when he did go to Michigan State, he loved it, signed. And again, was a 3-year letter winner there, and all CCHA his junior year.
Calvert trying to fight through the check. Gagner attempting to fish that puck free. Atkinson drops it behind the net. Gagner is right there. Ference trying to tie up Anisimov. Calvert gets it to Anisimov with Ference right there. Atkinson in to help out. Driven along the wall there by Petrie, who outmuscles Atkinson. There's Calvert turning. Fires it in front of the net. Anisimov trying to settle down that bouncing puck. Jackets lead 1-0 if you're just joining us. And that is the 10th time in the last 11 games the Blue Jackets have scored the first goal of the game. And that usually equates to a pretty good record. That has not been the case. And in particular, the Jackets just one win in their last 7 home games. And they are going to look to improve on that here tonight as Brizgalov hangs on.
Columbus Blue Jackets hockey is brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, the official insurance provider of your Columbus Blue Jackets. Remember, Nationwide is on your side.
Well, there's Nick Foligno, and young Prop had a little funny line there this morning talking to him in the dressing room. He said, you know what? I can't shake the Foligno family. Marcus was my teammate in Buffalo, and now Nick, who I know through Marcus in the summers in Buffalo, I got another Foligno to deal with. Here, a quick shot sails wide of the net off the stick of Boyd Gordon. Less than 8 minutes
Let's hope
left.
he doesn't have to deal with a dad. That means he's going to another team.
Played along the wing there by Ryan Smith. Sends it ahead. Gordon across the line. And play is called on the offside. 7:28 left.
We'll see the Blue Jackets take on the Minnesota Wild on Friday, December the 6th, 7 o'clock start with the Tim Hortons Jackets Pack. That includes a ticket, $10 food and beverage voucher, Blue Jackets hat, Tim Hortons travel mug and more, starting at just $30 per person. Get your tickets now at BlueJackets.com.
Puck gets away from Grabeshkov, and Grabeshkov hustling back into his own zone. Pressured there by Como. Off the wall. Good save at the line there by the Jackets. Feder too. Tossed behind the Edmonton net. Quick pass there, and Hall will clear the zone. Eberle can't get anywhere. Jackets chip it right back in. They want to establish that forecheck throughout this game, and there's Como with a hard hit there on Grabeshkov. Left wing out of the zone. Former #1 overall pick. Hall with another #1 overall pick, Nugent Hopkins. And the other guy on the wing, Eberle, who we highlighted, the line in the open, their kid line. Well, Eberle, not #1 overall, but still a first-round pick.
Well, get over to Boston's on Nationwide Boulevard in the Arena District this Tuesday at 6 to test your Blue Jackets knowledge and get a chance to win some great prizes. Plus, you'll be featured on Blue Jackets Live after an upcoming game on Fox Sports Ohio. Be part of the fun at Boston's. That's this Tuesday at 6.
Mark Corbella will take the faceoff. Jones waits patiently. Jones looking for the handle. He was a healthy scratch the other night in Edmonton. Shot from the point by Petrie sent wide. Jones fires it right across the goal mouth. Top of the circle. Petrie lets one fly, and it's over top of the net. Ference, shot blocked there by Como, and the puck sails into Edmonton territory, where Brizgalov will leave it there for Petrie. Less than 6.5 left. Opening period. Petrie sends it in on that far side. Jones drilled by Nikitin. Shot from the right wing boards. Bobrovsky able to stop it. And the Jackets clear. 6:10 left. Ference finds an opening and dumps in. Bobrovsky making the play outside. Comes Nikitin out to center. Trap knocked down. Jackets look to Skilly. He can't find the handle. Stepping up is Dalton Prout. He'll just chip it in deep. Corey Trap, first man in for the Jackets. Puck played by Gagner. Left wing Yakupov. Yet another #1 overall pick. Moving in, there's a shot off the shoulder of Bobrovsky, and he's got to find a way to hang on to those rebounds.
Nice job, though, of just standing up and taking that shot. Again, that's the first time we've had a chance to see Edmonton come across the line with speed and make something happen.
Jackets battle from the point. Wisniewski. Bryzgalov on the edge of the goal crease will hold on. 5:19 left. Shot 7-4 Edmonton, but the Jackets lead.
1-0 Jackets lead it. Craig Hartsburg, so much of what your team does is dependent upon the forecheck. What are you seeing tonight that you like?
Well, at times I think we've done a good job. We got to continue to be physical. To me, we can be more physical on their Ds. If the earlier you get that physical game going, the tougher it is for them.
This is a team that loves to get up and down the rink. How do you try to contain them, especially given what happened 10 nights ago?
Well, we know their speed and skill, and if you allow them space, they're going to be able to use it. So, again, our tracking back, our gaps by our Ds, they can take their space away, especially at our blue line.
Well, again, you go back into that offensive zone. That puck gets below the goal line. What you want to do? Force the defense to turn their shoulders and then take the body to them. And the earlier you do it, boy, it pays dividends come the third period.
Up to the moment, Jackets have out-hit Edmonton 11-5, with Trout leading the way with 3 hits. Murray off the stick of Anisimov, retrieving the puck and tossing it back to Wisniewski. Less than 5 minutes left. Opening period. Anisimov marches in onto Matt Calvert. Ricochets off his stick and wide. Jackets pressure along the wall, but the Oilers are able to clear. Ryan Smith unable to get to that puck. Good defensive play there at the line by Wisniewski. Jackets dump it back into Edmonton territory. 4.5 minutes left. Ference, former Bruin, signed as a free agent to upgrade the Oilers' defense. Nugent Hopkins off the wall for Eberle. He failed to get to it. Bobrovsky will tee it up there for Jack Johnson. Away from Taylor Hall. Jackets look to the right wing. Johansson unable to get to it, but hustles into the zone. Grabeshkov is there. This is Jenner. Jenner in front. Bryzgalov just swept it away. Jenner again makes the play away from Nugent Hopkins. Good hustle there by the youngster. Back to the point. Here's a shot. It's blocked in front of Bryzgalov. And now 3-on-2. Oilers march up ice. Going wide. Hall. Rebound left in the slot. Jackets able to walk it back out, and it's Nick Foligno throwing a backhand on for Johansson. Fires. Bryzgalov the stop on the short side. Taylor Hall back in his own zone. Dancing away. Pressure coming from R.J. Umberger. Eberle late in the shift will just shovel in, and the Oilers change up. Less than 3.5 minutes left. Opening period. Nikitin sweeps it to the right side for Dalton Prout. It goes off Letestu and dumped back to center ice. Nikitin this time hammers one in. Bryzgalov waves at it. R.J. Umberger. Umberger with a centering feed. Stood up there was Como. Doesn't give up on it. Looking for Umberger. The puck played by the Oilers and out of the zone by Belov. Jackets chip it back ahead. This is Nick Schultz on for Belov. Belov slides right side for Hemsky. He's got Gagne with him. Jackets quickly playing a little ping pong here. Send it back to Belov. Yakupov. Gagne. Hemsky down the right side. Belov stopped at the line. Where is it? Yakupov will pick it up. Loose puck. Anisimov. Anisimov fires a shot that's deflected wide. Belov back in his own zone will sweep it up the near boards and into Jackets territory.
The Jackets have done a nice job through the neutral zone. They get the ping pong. That's what they'd like to have. And then right now, Edmonton turning the puck over at that offensive blue line. The Jackets coming back the other way.
Andrew Ference. Petrie. All picked up here by Jones. Tossed to the front of the net. Jackets move it up, but not out. Quick shot. Ricochets off the stick there. Murray, who neatly makes the play to Wisniewski. James Wisniewski for Atkinson. Chipped ahead. Jenner in pursuit. It gets by Chaput. Now moving up. A left wing feed, and again the Oilers called offside. That's the third time in this opening period the Oilers have been offside at the offensive blue line.
Well, before the Jackets hit the ice, get ready to join the battle on Blue Jackets Live on Fox Sports Ohio. Blue Jackets Live is brought to you by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And that's another compliment. Jeff, you just talked about the 3 offsides. The Jackets are doing a nice job of maintaining that gap at the blue line. Forwards coming back and helping out. Defense able to stand up.
Johnson. Away from Ryan Smith. Left wing feed fails. Justin Schultz heard footsteps, and that puck bounced away from him. Oilers look to the left wing. Smith for Boyd Gordon. Jack Johnson with the play. Johnson off the boards. Bouncing puck. Johansson offside.
Fans, hey, purchase tickets online now through Monday for any remaining Blue Jackets game, and you can pay no fees. No ticket fees. That is a savings of $18.75 per ticket. You buy the tickets, we pay the fees. All games, all tickets, no fees. Get your tickets now and save at bluejackets.com/no fees.
Jack Johnson behind the net for two. Pressure coming there from Nugent Hopkins. Letestu on the puck. Johnson steps up. Right side goes Como across the line. Blake Como circling the net. Hangs onto that puck. Looks to the point for Letestu. Letestu hands to Jack Johnson. Back to Letestu. And the shot caroms wide of the net. Taylor Hall knocks it down. Johnson steps up. Less than a minute to go. Shots almost even. 8 for Edmonton, 7 for the Jackets, who have the lone goal. Johansson with his team-leading 9th. Nugent Hopkins out of his own zone. All on the left wing. A drop pass for Taylor Hall. Fires. Shot blocked by Johnson. Atkinson. Late in this final minute. Right wing feed. Anisimov. Shot blocked. Nick Schultz. Pressured by Anisimov. Atkinson is there to retrieve the loose puck. Out of the corner. Sends it back. Dalton Prout. Shot blocked there. Ooh, that hurt. Belov steps in front of it. Anisimov fires it wide. Johansson. On to Schultz. Rink wide. Jackets play at Calvert. Final 10 seconds. Dalton Prout. Prout able to clear at the Edmonton line. Petrie. Cross ice. Ferentz says the horn goes to end the opening period. The Jackets with the lone goal. Ryan Johansson finishing off a pretty play as the Jackets were able to turn the puck, get that turned over puck from Edmonton. Walked into the zone. Atkinson and Matt Calvert, who started it, draw the assist on that wicked wrist shot by Johansson. It's 1-0. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio. Brought to you by Ohio Health, the official healthcare provider of your Columbus Blue Jackets. And by Ticketmaster. Score. Get the only NHL tickets sold by fans and verified by Ticketmaster. It's all hockey, no hassle, right now at NHL.com/ticket exchange. Back here at Nationwide Arena, set for second period play. Our IGS Energy performers from the opening period. Ryan Johansson, who will take the center ice face-off, picking up his team-leading 9th goal of the season. Calvert and Atkinson draw assists. For Calvert, his 3rd point in his last 3 games. Teams have traded ends. Nugent Hopkins set for the face-off against Johansson. For the most part, these two have been matched up against one another since the game started, with Johansson again winning the draw. Johansson dances into the zone. Petrie try to hold him off. Jenner forcing play in front of the Edmonton net, but the Oilers able to walk it down. Hall slides it deep into Jackets territory. Jack Johnson, Tootin, stepping away from his teammate Johansson, and off a stick right up to an alert Brizgalov, who will hold on.
Well, make your plans now to get your group on board the Blue Jackets Fan Express. You can bring your group to Nationwide Arena, certainly in style. And for more information, call 614-246-PUCK or go to bluejackets.com.
I should correct myself. That was Bobrovsky, not Brizgalov. One email I received during the first intermission. Seems like we're reading the Russian phone book here tonight, with all the Russians dressed and in play for both clubs.
Well, the last time when we were in Edmonton, they spent, in fact, I believe there were 7 of them. They had a chance to go out to dinner, and again, very respectful, each one of them, of who they are, what they are, and where they are. And they spend some time anytime they can.
R.J. Umberger sends it towards the net. Brizgalov camped well in that goal crease. Letestu looking to establish the cycle. Como. R.J. Umberger. 2 Jackets collide. Backhanded there. and played by Belov. Belov knocked down to the ice. So too there was Como. It's Umberger sliding it back here to Wisniewski. Wisniewski for Lechestu. Como tripped up. And the back official will make the call. The referee that had the better look at it did not. And the Jackets will get the power play with the call from Steve Kazari.
Well, Steve was on top of it, and I agree with you. Why didn't Francis Charon make that call? Any way you look at it, Nick Schultz, he makes his way to the penalty box. Let's take a look at that call. The Jackets get starting period number 2 off, and this is exactly what you want. You keep that puck along the wall. We talk about good puck management, and in that situation, excellent job.
Jackets with the first power play, tied for 15th in power play efficiency. Set in front. Atkinson unable to pull the trigger. Petrie will backhand it right up over the Blue Jackets bench and into the crowd. The Oilers 14th on the penalty kill in the NHL. They have not allowed power play goal in their last 5 victories.
Well, Saturday, December the 14th is Hockey and Heels presented by Myers Jewelers. Enjoy a ladies' night out. Discuss the game with Jody Shelley, Coach Dan Heino, NHL officials, and others in a fun and casual environment. Package includes a game ticket, hors d'oeuvres and drinks, Myers Jewelers gift card, and a commemorative gift for just $65. Reserve your spot right now at BlueJackets.com/Hockey and Heels.
Jackets are going to have a 2-man advantage for 1 minute and 48 seconds, and it took the officials to have a little conference before making the calls, ensuring that the puck did in fact go off Petrie's stick and up into the crowd, and no deflection was involved. As they got to look there at Dallas Eakins now. The Oilers did lobby for a moment, and they're going to call a timeout here right now. And actually, we're getting word it was the Jackets that called the timeout. But 1 minute and 48 seconds, they diagram a play here. A delay of game penalty to Petrie. And after some lobbying to no avail, the Oilers are a man short for almost a full, 2 men short for almost a full 2 minutes. 1 minute 48, the 2-man advantage for the Blue Jackets with the delay of game call against Petrie.
Well, again, having 2 men, this could be a turning point in this hockey game for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And that's why Todd Richards being smart. You take the time. Everybody should be ready. The big guns will get a chance to start it off. Their number 1 unit. They have 2 power play units that they can run through. Both of them, they replicate the same thing 5-on-3. And right now, it all boils down to winning that one-on-one battle, and that is the face-off.
Well, I'll tell you what. The Jackets, there's Todd Richards, if you were reading his lips there, shoot the puck. He doesn't want to see anything fancy. He wants to see this biscuit fired towards Brizgalov and the Edmonton net. Minute 40 gone here in period number 2. The Jackets registering a total of 7 shots in the first period. They have 1 here in the second, and also not accounted for are the 11 block shots that have been directed at the Edmonton net. But blocked in front of Brizgalov. Wisniewski let one fly. Brizgalov got a piece of that one. Wiz looking for that elusive first power play goal. Got a couple of goals at even strength. He's got 8 power play assists to lead the Jackets. But now the right-handed shot on the left side. Atkinson failing to pull the trigger. The puck bouncing on him. He couldn't get a shot away. Johansson for Atkinson. Looking for the redirect, and it got away from him again. Umberger hands to Foligno. Walks out. Johansson. Atkinson. Brizgalov spread eagled across the goal mouth. The puck is loose. Wisniewski fires the net. Dislodged. And play has been whistled down. And tell you what, I'd like to get a look at this one again here and see how that net was displaced.
Well, you'll watch it on the backside, and again, a little bit too close for comfort right there from that vantage point. This will be a better look. Steve Kazari is to your right. He is on top of that right now. Let's take a look on the backside and see what does happen. And there it is right there. Ryan Smith, he had a chance to stop. Instead, he puts his momentum forward and pushes it off its moorings.
As you folks were looking at it at home here on Fox Sports Ohio, they showed it up on that spectacular new center ice scoreboard and video board, and it certainly looked like that was a deliberate attempt to remove the net from its placing. Here, Johansson. Jackets continue. 33 seconds left on a 2-man advantage, and Brizgalov gets a piece of that one with that right foot. Wisniewski backhands blindly. Oilers come up with it, and another penalty here to Edmonton. This one for holding.
The Jackets have gone back to that
17-21 hold.
that simple power play, and you mentioned what Todd Richards was saying during their timeout. That is to get shots on net. And you can see, let's take a look at the holding right there. As Ference comes in, no question about it. Jackets will continue on 5-on-3.
Now 26 seconds remain in the initial call on Nick Schultz. And Ferentz's penalty will not start until after the Schultz penalty is over as Brizgalov covers up. So the Jackets will continue for roughly 13 seconds after Schultz comes back, and he can't leave the penalty box, but the penalty will start on Ferentz. Be a 13-second two-man advantage, so we can say for 39 seconds here as play continues. Ryan Smith handed here to Johansson from the point. Tooten. Jackets have got to get those pucks through to the net. Up high, Johnson. Tooten with a one-timer blocked. Oilers done a great job blocking shots. Now Johansson trying to lift it. Brizgalov comes right out and does not give Johansson much to shoot at and covers up the puck. 3 seconds left in the Schultz penalty. And then Ferentz's call will start.
No, you see where Brizgalov does his best work, and that's when that puck is down on the ice. Good stick there by Brizgalov as he comes out and challenges. You see Johansson just a second behind that poke check of Brizgalov, and that's the difference on that last play.
Brizgalov turning aside 33 shots last night in that shutout victory. 14 here now. The Jackets continue. 10 seconds left in the Schultz penalty. Oh, that one directed right off the defender in front. Jackets in front. Johansson scores! I don't believe it got through to Johansson. I believe it redirected. And with 1 second remaining in the Schultz penalty, Petrie will step out now as well. And the Jackets will have a minute 48 of a power play, continuing with the Ference penalty.
Now, I think it's going to be Matt Calvert. Look at that right there. And it may have been Anisimov. Let's watch his stick. Get a lot of legs in front of that one. This may be a better look at it. And I've got a feeling Anisimov might have got that stick on it. Anyway, you look at it, good forcing the net by Calvert. Looked like he tried to go back door or a net situation with the big man and stick on the ice. Anisimov might have got a piece of that to make it a 2-0 game. But the Jackets will still have a minute and 48 on the power play.
We'll wait for it as the official, Kazari, now informing the off-ice officials downstairs as to what he thought on that goal. Getting word here now that the information on the goal has been passed, and they're now looking at the penalty times. But Petrie's penalty had 2 seconds remaining on it. And he stepped out because the Schultz penalty had expired. That's where there were 3 successive penalties. And again, the Ference penalty not to start until after the Schultz penalty had concluded. Of course, he couldn't leave the penalty box because then the Oilers would have too many men on the ice. And the discussion continues here as far as the timing is concerned. And are they going to call back?
Well, let's listen to see what Steve Kazari is going to go over to the benches and inform, well, first of all, Todd Richards on exactly what was going on. And it's, again, boiling down with the time clock and having 3 Edmonton Oilers into the penalty box at the same time.
Well, hold on a second here, Bill. Hold on. I mean, the situation here is that Ference is getting back on the ice. I looked up at the clock as the puck went in the net, and there was still time left on the Petrie penalty. Discussion continues amongst the officials. Kazari now talking to the linesman, Derek Amell.
Boy, right now, no, there is no time left, so the clock had run out. So the Jackets will not get that 3rd power play of the game. And now they'll be 1 for 3.
The crowd and Coach Richards not all that impressed with what went on here as far as the timing. There were still 2 seconds left in the Petrie call. Nonetheless, the Jackets do get the 2nd goal and now lead by 2 on Anisimov, getting his 6th of the season. Our Artem Anisimov. Assisted by Calvert, who's now picked up 2 assists, and Fedor Tutin. And a delay penalty now going the other way. It will go against Columbus, and the Oilers will get the power play.
Well, Francis Charron makes this call a holding call. And when you think you might have had another power play...
Columbus 55, Iron Valley for holding.
The Jackets, again, will be penalized. Mark Letestu, a holding call. And so the momentum now goes back to the Oilers. This, again, another critical part. Jackets would have had an opportunity to build on that 2-goal lead. But apparently that was not the case with the timing on the clock.
Now, these officials having a difficult time here. That penalty should have gone against 51 Tutin and not 55 Letestu. But nonetheless, the Oilers are on the power play for the second time tonight. Shot by Yakupov, blocked the stick of Calvert, breaking on the Yakupov attempt. Calvert got a long way to go to the bench. Oilers already with a manpower advantage, looking at Calvert without a hockey stick because of that long march to the Jackets dressing room or bench. He cannot make his way there. 5 minutes gone. Waiting. The shot from the point by Belov. Ricochets wide. Yakupov to play it. Oilers 3 for 4 on the power play in Edmonton. And these teams met 10 days ago. Jackets have it now. Anisimov able to clear. And as a result, Calvert can head off to the bench and Jackets can get some fresh legs on. Left wing at center. Dancing into the zone. Taylor Hall. Eberle. Ridden off on the play as Nugent Hopkins drops it back. Perron. Nugent Hopkins. Taylor Hall. 40 seconds left in the Edmonton power play. They're second. And it's rifled down the ice. Edmonton on their first power play got 2 shots. Jackets did a great job. I thought they might have had a couple of chances while shorthanded. And here they come again. Good work by the Jackets, but Murray fails to get it, and a breakaway for Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall moves in and fires it wide. A rare miscue by Ryan Murray leads to a breakaway by Taylor Hall, but he fired the puck wide.
Right off the heel of the stick. And then Taylor Hall comes in, tries to go high on Bobrovsky. Let's go ahead and take a look at that last play. In that offensive blue line, you see Murray just trying to force the issue off the heel of the stick. And that sends Hall in all alone. He had a breakaway goal last night and tried to open up the goaltender and had success in Nashville. But tonight tries to decide to go the other way. Guys go back across the grain and beat the goaltender high on that blocker side. But Bobrovsky took away that time and especially that space.
From the draw, thrown behind the net. And played here by Ference. Final seconds ticking off in the penalty. Letestu standing at the penalty bench. Ference dishes cross ice. Petrie up the left wing. Jackets 2 for 2 on the kill. Bouncing puck. Jones has to stop for it. Ference ridden off there by R.J. Umberger. Behind the net. It's handed to Jack Johnson. Petrie passes it back into the corner. Oilers in Columbus territory before Como's able to bang it off the wall and send it to the ice for the icing call.
Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, read about what Jack Skilly brings to the Columbus Blue Jackets. The chances of Ohio State's trip to Michigan on Saturday could produce an upset, and the latest on the Cavaliers as they prepare to take on the Celtics in Boston. Get complete coverage of all of today's action involving Ohio sports on FoxSportsOhio.com.
Gagne winning the draw. Up high. Nick Schultz. Belov with a shot. Bobrovsky to stop. Here's Mark Letestu, and he'll chip it off the wall and send it to center ice. Hammered right back in by Belov, and left behind the net for Jack Johnson. Outlet pass. Letestu marches down that near board before sending it in. Foligno and Umberger below the goal line. Foligno, good work along the wall. Foligno trying to walk to the front of the net. Hangs onto that puck, rims it off into the corner. It'll be played there by Gagne with a backhand pass for Hemsky at center. Alesh Hemsky sweeps into Columbus territory. Left for Dalton Prout. Bobrovsky retreats to the net. Here's Nick Foligno. Foligno at center. Ryan Smith tried to knock it down. Stepping up. Perron Puck rolling on in. Arcobello dumps behind. Perron stripped of the puck there by Nikitin. Nikitin missing Wednesday's game against Nashville. Back in the lineup here tonight. Skated yesterday in the Jackets optional practice. Took part in this morning's skate. Pronounced himself ready to go for this one here tonight. Less than 12 minutes left here in the second period. Jackets break it up, but following through, Justin Schultz for Arcobello, and offside the call. 11:47 left. Jackets, who were outshot in the first period, have a total of 9 shots in the second. The Oilers but 3. Columbus leading 2-0.
He is known throughout Canada as Captain Canada. This guy has won championships, and he's won championships and gold medals. Go back to gold in Salt Lake in 2002. He was a captain there. In 03, 04, and 2010, captain of the World Championship teams. The World Juniors in 95, he was the captain there. And then during the lockout last year, he went over to Switzerland in the Spengler Cup and captained Canada to a gold medal as well there. And 6 gold medals to his credit.
Bouncing puck play in Edmonton territory. Petrie walks it to the line, looks to the left wing. Perfect pass there for Taylor Hall, who chips to the right side for Nugent Hopkins. And there, the Jackets effectively and quickly get it out of their zone. Racing for the puck on the near side, Cam Atkinson turns it over. Outlet pass off the stick of Taylor. Well, this is the big rivalry weekend, Ohio State and Michigan. Of course, they're meeting in ice hockey as well. And the score, courtesy of a tweet from a Blue Jacket fan, 1-1. Ohio State won, Michigan won.
Well, that'll be a good hockey game. This is the start of the Big Ten Conference season, and no way better than to start it off against the Michigan Wolverines and the Buckeyes.
Thanks to Michael for passing that along. Approaching the midway point of the second period in hockey game. Arcobello on here to Perron. Perron across the line, sends it right in, juggled but held by Bobrovsky.
There's a look at Nikita Nikitin, and this guy has been a puck magnet here through the last 4 or 5 games, and you can see now some guys just have a little bit of a padding or a plastic device on the front. It will cover the inside. It will cover the outside. I asked him this morning, and I said, does it bother you when you're skating, Nick? He said, no, not at all. He says, I just feel pretty comfortable right now having it protected. But boy, I'll tell you, he has a bruised right foot. Worse than anything that I've seen. He showed me this morning. But to be able to have that on, it gives you that inner confidence to continue to block shots.
With all the block shots that we see in the National Hockey League, not only by defensemen, Bill, but forwards, I think every player should wear those.
I agree totally with you.
Especially with the lighter skates that are out there now.
There's no protection like it was in the past. They had a lot of felt, but right now, this nylon, it goes right through it.
Letestu trying to shovel a backhand in front. Como was on the doorstep. He's still there. Brizgalov is down. Loose puck. Played there by Justin Schultz, on for Yakupov. 10:15 left here in the second. Yakupov out of his own zone. 3 Jackets converge as Hemsky dumping it in. Yakupov in pursuit. Wisniewski there defending. Ryan Murray takes the pass. Murray lifts it up and out. Gloved ahead by the Oilers. Bouncing puck knocked down there by Como. And he'll bounce one in on Brizgalov that goes off the blocker. Play has been called. The Oilers with another penalty. This time Justin Schultz will go. The call is interference. The Jackets will get their 4th power play. They are 1 for 3.
2-0. Jackets go back on the power play. Dan Heino, the shots are there, the goals are there. What's been the difference tonight?
Just capitalizing on our opportunities right now, and that's the big difference. I think we're getting good zone time. We're not bringing a ton of pucks to the net, but after a while, you have enough zone time, penalties are going to get called. And the goal on this power play, other than obviously scoring a goal, is to what? Keep pressure on Briz? Momentum. You know, that's the key. They have a really good penalty kill. Obviously, Brizgalov's playing really good for them. We're just trying to create momentum, wear them down slowly. Eventually, something's going to roll in for us, whether it's here or later on in the game.
Now you get an opportunity on the 4th power play here in the second period. Jackets are 1 for 3.
Johansson. Jenner in front. Pulling the trigger. Scores! Power play goal! Nick Foligno!
looking again, the Jackets. They do a nice job along the wall, and then watch the pass. And then Foligno stays right with it. It's so easy. He's going down. He's on one leg right here. It's so easy to just quit on that play. But again, Foligno with the head up. Jenner finds the passing lane as Ferris goes down. The Jackets are second power play up the night, make it a 3-0 game.
Nick Foligno, who has gone on a bit of a point streak, not consecutively in games, but now he has picked up points in 6 of the last 9 since he's returned to the lineup, with 3 goals and 7 points in those 9 games. Nick Foligno finds the back of the Edmonton net. 3-0 Jackets lead. Jenner and Johansson draw the assists. And a 2-point night so far for Johansson, which will now move him into a tie for the points lead on the hockey club. Leads in goals, tied for the lead in points, and away go the Jackets. Calvert taking the Atkinson pass across the line, and the stick save made by Brizgala. Off the wall, waiting. Taylor Hall, backhands for Nugent Hopkins. Anisimov's on it. Anisimov dropping it back. Ryan Murray and Nikitin. Currently paired on the point. Jenner skates back into his own zone. Hands to Nikitin. Perron on the forecheck. Foligno unable to get a stick on it. Perron threw it across the line. He's got Jones with him. Hangs onto that puck. Deals to the far side. Off the bench. The shot there by Schultz. It's blocked. That hurt. Ryan Murray stepping in front of that one. Fighting off the effects. Heads up ice. That one's still smarting for the 20-year-old youngster. A centering pass knocked down by the Jackets. Murray hustles. Bumped along the boards. Thrown to the point. Schultz unable to keep it in. Justin Schultz has Grabeshkov. Set a bit of a pick. 7:42 left. Grabeshkov around the net. Steps away from Jenner. Boone Jenner. And Johansson deep in the zone. Right wing feed. Arcopello knocks it down. Fires the shot. And it sails all the way back into Edmonton territory. No icing here, as it came off the stick of an Oiler. Petrie. Right wing Hemsky can't make the play. This one bounces right in on Bobrovsky. 7:15 left. 3-0 Jackets lead. On the single goals by Johansson, Anisimov, and Foligno. Hamburger darts quickly into the zone. Loses an edge, gets back up as the Oilers clear it to Perron. Backhands a pass for Petrie, who steps up from center and dumps into Jackets territory. Perron trying to tie up Jack Johnson and come up with that loose puck. Perron continues to keep the feet moving. Spins, turns, fires a shot. Another penalty upcoming. Perron, by keeping those feet moving, draws a penalty. And the Oilers will have their third power play of the night.
Columbus number 51, 2-minute minor. Okay.
Yeah, you give Perron a lot of credit. Again, he's down below the goal line, and watch him as he begins to keep the legs going, as Jeff just mentioned. You see the stick in the midsection, no question about it. Minor penalty being called. Now, you give them an opportunity right now to pull it within 2. This is where the penalty kill continues. They've got to continue to pressure and good sticks.
Edmonton 0 for 2 with 3 shots on the previous 2 power plays. Oilers come into tonight's game 12th best. They were again 3 for 4 in Edmonton against the Jackets. And leading them is Perron. The 6 points, 4 of them are goals. Tootin in the box. The Oilers look to march out of their own zone. This is Hemsky. Dances at center. On to Sam Gagner. Gagner across the line. Gagner pulls up along the near wall. On for Hemsky. Wisniewski. Bumped by Hemsky. Behind the net. Puck squirts free. Letestu is there, but Gagner will deal it up high. Bella. Cross ice. Yakupov. 4 forwards in play by Coach Dallas Eakins. On this particular power play, less than 6 minutes left. Swept in. Hemsky can't take that pass from Gagner. Hemsky now. The goal line finds Yakupov. Yakupov floats one. Bellard. Gagner. Brian Smith sets the screen in front. Bellard for Yakupov. Letestu turning the youngster around. Hemsky comes up with that puck. Gagner behind the defense in front, and Smith cannot convert. Fanning on that attempted shot right there in the blue paint.
Very seldom do you see Ryan Smith miss an opportunity like that, but that was a bouncing puck.
30 seconds left on the power play. The Jackets clear, and Brizgalov will tee it up. Bellow. Camp momentarily behind the Edmonton net. Looks to walk out. 20 seconds left. Left wing, Taylor Hall at center. Hall's pass for Eberle broken up, but Perron follows through. David Perron had the puck stripped by R.J. Umberger. Down to precious seconds in the Edmonton's third power play. This is Taylor Hall for Perron. On a 4-point night in Edmonton. Jackets have killed it off. Tootin heads off to the bench as Como sends it deep. 4.5 minutes left in the second. Jackets will wing their way out of Columbus immediately after this game and head to Boston. The Bruins a winner this afternoon and come from behind fashion with a pair of third period goals. More on that on our AT&T Rewind on tonight's telecast. But the Bruins and the Blue Jackets will meet tomorrow night in Boston at the TD Garden. And you'll see it right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Joensuu sends it right in on the Jackets net. Bobrovsky wisely hangs on. Nick Foligno with the third of the 3 goals. Bobrovsky strong here in the second.
Well, a good look at Boone Jenner on the left, Ryan Jones on the right, and pedigree in hockey doesn't fall too far from the tree. How about Boone Jenner's uncle? And that's Billy Carroll. Again, one of the top penalty killers for the New York Islanders back in 1980 through 84. Ryan Jones, his first cousin, John Tonelli, was part of that same team. He was a power winger, much like what Ryan Jones was. Guy that would go in and basically make something happen along the wall. But those two were together and won 3 Stanley Cups with the New York Islanders back in the 80s.
Less than 4 minutes left here in the second period. Teams at full strength. Taylor Call in off the wing. Bobrovsky, unlike the opening period when he was giving up those rebounds, look, Eberle wants to go with Jack Johnson, who may not necessarily be doing the right thing there, and cooler heads prevail. But Bobrovsky getting back to Sergei, he has certainly handled his rebounds a lot better here in the second.
He does. He's pretty focused. And there's an example right there, right in the midsection. Look at Jack Johnson. Again, shoulder square, and that's a high stick into that head area by Jordan Eberle. Jack Johnson did a nice job of constraint. He just hung on and basically looked. Eberle wanted to go. He figures, why not? No call being made. They'll still play 5-on-5 hockey, and that face-off will move out into the neutral zone.
3:45 left. Arcobello losing the draw to Letestu. Murray. Wisniewski throws it up that right wing for Como. Bouncing puck. Jackets play it. Carried into the zone. Letestu dishes. Umberger's shot deflected off the netting. No further play. Threes are wild. 3:33 left second.
Well, 'tis the season to give the gift of hockey with the Blue Jackets Holiday Pick'em Pack. Packs start at just $89. They include 2 tickets to 2 games of your choice and a player autograph puck, all packaged in a holiday gift box. Call 1-800-NHL-COLS or visit BlueJackets.com/holiday pack to buy yours today.
Rare shift here for the fourth line. Chaput, Skilly, and Trop. Again, jersey number 26, who joined us late, making his Blue Jackets debut tonight. Corey Trop, a third-round pick by the Sabres back in 07. All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of the broadcast without the express written consent of the Columbus Blue Jackets is expressly prohibited.
Talking with Trop this morning, I said, did you ever consider Michigan? He says, are you kidding me? He says, I could not stand Michigan as a kid growing up. If it was anything, it was the green and white of Michigan State, and I was just hoping that they'd make me an offer.
Should mention that Corey is a native of Michigan.
Grosse Pointe Woods.
Happy to be in Columbus. And now, happy to be a Blue Jacket. Moving in. Skilly shoots and scores. Jack Skilly. A wicked wrist shot. High on the stick side. And it's 4-0. A delayed penalty was going to be called. Skilly's got his second as a Blue Jacket with that one.
Boy, is that fun to watch. You take a look at a guy that's a natural skater, and here the Jackets again come out of their zone. Again, as the defense steps up, you can see Skilly pull away. This guy can skate with the best of them, and then he finishes it off. And look at the torque of that shot. Beating Brizgalov high over top of that blocker side shoulder. That is a beauty. That is all world.
Well, another illustration. You did not have to slap that puck. Johansson on a wrist shot that was a wicked one in the first. And Skilly coming in off the wing has his second goal in the last 3 games. His second as a Blue Jacket. A former first-round pick of the Chicago Blackhawks wants to make it home here in Columbus and doing all he can with each and every shift that he gets. Signed to a 2-way contract. The Jackets felt he would certainly add some depth and could be an NHL player, and he's proving that here right now. What with all the injuries. Shot by Boomjetter, and Brizgalov will hang on. Columbus 4, Edmonton no score, 2:15 left.
Well, after every Blue Jackets game, Fox Sports Ohio breaks down the game and talks to the players and the coaches on Blue Jackets Live, presented by IGS Energy. IGS Energy. Take control of your natural gas and electricity costs and enroll today at IGSenergy.com.
Well, welcome to the Blue Jackets. Corey Trapp, who picks up the primary assist. He was the one that fed that puck to Skilly. The second assist goes to Dalton Prout. And not bad. The Trapp here to come to Columbus, make his debut here tonight. Arrived late last night, drove down the New York freeway into Ohio, around Cleveland, down 71 to make his debut here. And he's picked up his first Blue Jacket point.
Well, nice to see that fourth line chip in. They've only played a little over 3 minutes in this hockey game, and as they say, he is now a candidate for more ice time.
Trapp, a 24-year-old, 9 NHL points in 43 games prior to tonight. Puck turned over. Bobrovsky to stay with the rebound, chopped away. Perron went right through the goal crease, bumping netminder Bobrovsky, who continues to talk to the official Kazari, saying that he was kicked in the head, as Perron was able to freely walk through that goal mouth, and he was not necessarily pushed by a Blue Jacket. Bobrovsky kind of shaking it off here right now, and I'm sure he'll have some more words for Kazari.
Well, you're going to want to regroup. He's just checking his helmet, the mask, see if there is any damage done, but boy, he did take the brunt of that.
Well, we're going to get a look at it here again, and watch as Perron, not pushed anywhere near the Blue Jackets netminder, just skated through the blue paint.
Yeah, there's the after effect. Look at the right knee of Perron. Right on top of the goaltender Bobrovsky. The referee right behind. No call made.
Less than 90 seconds left here in the second period. Eberle. Nugent Hopkins ridden out along the wall. A little more than a minute left. Como coming down that off wing. Puts the brakes on top of the circle. Rims it around the wall to Testu. Walks out and on the cycle. Sends it back here to Ryan Murray. Como cannot trap it. Played there by Hall. Less than a minute left. Here in the second. Jackets led 1-0 after the first period. Have added 3 goals in the second. 2 of them courtesy of power plays. And now Eberle will send to the Jackets line. Wisniewski for Murray. Ryan Murray centers off Letestu to Umberger. Skilly hustles deep in that corner. Fights off Grabeshkov. Chaput. Skilly. And Trapp. Up front. Eberle drops the pass there for Sam Gagner. Gagner late in the shift. Flips a backhand. Cross ice. Jones will play it. Final seconds tick off. Backhanded. Wide on that stick side. Jones comes up with it. Shovels it in front. Jackets able to walk it out of the zone. Who else but Skilly again? And he'll send it the rest of the way, and that should do it. A great second period, which have not been all that kind to the Jackets this season. But Columbus add to a 1-0 lead with 3 second period goals. Anisimov, Foligno, and Skilly, 1 apiece, 2 on the power play. It's 4-0. Columbus over Edmonton after 40 minutes of play. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Roush Honda. For the best deals on new wheels, it's Roush Honda. And by AT&T Uverse TVs. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. We got a goaltending change here. Bryzgalov chased from the nets after 40 minutes of play. And Devin Dubnyk, who recorded the shutout in Edmonton 10 nights ago, has come on in relief of Bryzgalov. And there is Ilya sitting on that Edmonton bench as we get set for third period play. And we are underway. Incidentally, Nick Foligno's goal represented his 180th career point. Johansson with a goal and an assist tonight leads the team with 5 shots through 40 minutes. A goal and an assist for Ryan Johansson, who's on the ice chasing Nugent Hopkins here right now. He is now tied with James Wisniewski for the points lead. He leads with goals tonight, getting number 9. How about the AEP power play summary, and another penalty upcoming here right now. As you get a look, Edmonton 0 for 3 with 3 shots are going back to the power play. Columbus 2 for 4 tonight with 11 shots.
And part of that, a 5-on-3, where the message was shoot the puck, force the goaltender to play it. 5-on-3 goal. The beautiful Foligno goal. Doom Jenner made a nice move to be able to find Foligno.
28 seconds in. Foligno. The gate for high sticking. Catching Ference up high. Belov on for Hemsky. It's Gagne behind the net in front. Ryan Smith denied as he tried to shovel that home off the pad of Bobrovsky. Neil Yakupov, one of 4 forwards employed here on the power play for Edmonton. He shoots from the wing. And as he did in that second period, much more effectively than the first, Bobrovsky letting that puck just melt up in the equipment.
Well, there's a look at Yakupov. Again, a left-handed shot playing off of that right wall, and he loves to shoot the puck. They utilize the middleman as well as a relay, as well as a guy that can shoot that puck. Right there, Yakupov lets it go. Doesn't get all of it, but a nice job by Bobrovsky to make the save.
From the drop, Johansson wins another face-off for Columbus. And now takes a well-deserved spot on the bench. He comes out, takes those important defensive draws while on the penalty kill. And the important offensive draws, and the Jackets are on the power play. Ryan Johansson living up to expectations when he was selected 4th overall in the draft. He has matured, and as Coach Todd Richards has told us on more than one occasion, he believes that he belongs, and indeed he does. Leicester hammers it the length of the ice. Dubnyk unable to trap it. Calvert's in deep. Short-handed, Matt Calvert looking for Leicester. Fighting off Justin Schultz, and now gets a well-deserved rest. Matt Calvert can certainly see why he was missed for those 6 weeks. He was out after abdominal surgery, and what a difference he makes, adding speed up front. Leicester stepping to center. 2 minutes plus gone here in the third period. Jackets penalty kill continues down to 20 seconds now. David Perron. Tape-to-tape pass. Hemsky in off the wing. The net dislodged. No further play.
Well, let's take a look as Hemsky comes in off of that wing. And I'll tell you, I don't think he makes any attempt to stop. And when you go through the blue of the crease, you should see some snow flying off of the skates. Right here, well, he does. He does. He lifts that leg up. But it looked right there as he went through the blue of the crease. But maybe he was going to run into him. No, I'll give him credit. He took that right leg, lifted it up, because he could have went right through Bobrovsky on that play.
From the drop. Puck played there by Tootin, rimmed around the wall, and that should effectively end the Foligno penalty. He was standing at the bench down to 2-1. Nick Foligno steps out. Jackets perfect on the penalty kill tonight, killing off all 4 Edmonton power plays and limiting the Oilers to just 5 shots. 2.5 minutes plus gone here in the third. Gagne off the wall. Nick Schultz looks to the right wing, unable to cradle that puck was Yakupov. Leicester turning away from traffic. Nikitin hits Atkinson at center. Puck gets away from him. Letestu shovels ahead. Skilly in pursuit. Oilers walk it out of the zone. That's Bella. Steps back in. On to Perron. Ferentz steps to center. Banks it off the boards. Yakupov had it briefly. Rolled off his stick, and Skilly effectively sends it back to neutral ice. Ferentz. It's Perron at the line. Perron trying to walk to the net. Does save Bobrovsky. Rebound swept up high. Ferentz hangs on, looks. The one-timer blocked by the Jackets in front of Bobrovsky. And here's Trout out of his own zone. Skates down that left wing, the right-handed shot. Playing the left side here tonight. Banks it off the boards, avoids a hit. Ryan Smith comes up with a loose puck. And the Oilers move up. Eberle, Nugent Hopkins, on to Petrie, who's joined the rush. Petrie pulls up. Right-handed shot on the left side. On to Taylor through a crowd. And it glanced off the glove of Bobrovsky and wide. Eberle chips free. That's Taylor. Taylor Hall fires. Jackets block that. Now Nugent Hopkins will cycle. Oilers trying to establish something in Columbus territory. Nugent Hopkins trying to get away from Wisniewski. Drops it back behind the net. Eberle. Eberle to Petrie. Petrie, one-timer coming from the right side. Ricochets off the Jackets defender and wide of the Columbus net. 15:40 left here in the third. Taylor Hall on it again. At the point, Grebeshkov looks to the right side. Puck floated in. Bobrovsky's got it. Another penalty upcoming as Bobrovsky holds on. And again, a penalty assessed here to the Blue Jackets. This time James Wisniewski gets the game.
Columbus 21, minor penalty for cross-checking.
That's Francis Charron making that penalty, and again the Jackets were in their own zone, and you can see the high stick by Wisniewski. There you've got to get the thing low, put it at the base of the neck or base of the back, and then continue to push. Certainly a minor penalty gives the Edmonton Oilers another shot at life.
No, you do not want to continue to give these Oilers these power play opportunities. The Oilers come in, they're in the top half of the league at number 12. Jackets killed off the previous 4, allowing but 5 shots as you get a look at Ryan Smith, who has been out there. Now the Oilers enjoy these power plays tonight. Edmonton had a field day in the first meeting at Rexall Place, scoring on 3 of 4 opportunities. Jackets, who have shown discipline here of late as far as allowing opposition power plays. A man short for the 5th time tonight. Jack Johnson unable to cradle that puck along the near wall. Anisimov is there. Perron unable to keep it in. Oilers walk into the zone. Gagne for Hemsky. Rimmed around the dasher. Yakupov stepping up. Hands it right back to the Blue Jackets. Battle ensues, and now Gagne looking to walk out. Centering pass up high. Perron. Waiting. Hemsky back to Perron. Traffic in front of the Jackets net. Bobrovsky, oh, he just got that right pad out at the opportunistic time and was able just to steer it wide with that right leg. Perron again up high. On for Gagne. A little more than a minute left. And the Wisniewski penalty. Jack Johnson draped all over Hemsky, who's frustrated. A penalty coming up now to the Oilers, which will nullify their power play. They'll touch up here with 49 seconds left in the Wisniewski penalty. Now the Oilers will go to the gate. Hemsky retrieving a new stick and heads off to the penalty box.
Edmonton 83, minor penalty for hooking.
Well, the hooking called by Charron, and there's the stick in the midsection. As you can see, Jack Johnson, he did a great job in that one-on-one battle along the wall to be able to not only come up with a puck, but was able to move it along from baseline to baseline. In the meantime, the Jackets, they'll play 4-on-4 hockey for 49 seconds.
Now, this was what helped Edmonton in the second period last night in Nashville. They scored 2 goals in the second period, 4-on-4 hockey, less than a minute apart. Added an empty net goal in that 3-0 shutout victory over Barry Trotz's Nashville Predators. So the Jackets have got to be aware, again, with the explosiveness, Bill, of this Oiler hockey club at 4-on-4.
No, that's right. And then watching that game last night, and Dallas Eakins said it was a team effort. But, again, you can score and you can execute in a short period of time. You can take the wind out of a team's sails. And that's where right now the Jackets are flying high. They've got to continue to keep the momentum going.
Glove behind the net, rimmed around the wall, left in the corner there. Tossed back behind. Taylor Hall waits patiently. And you see who the Oilers employ here, 4-on-4. They're 2 most skilled players. Grabeshka up front. Taylor Hall. And Nugent Hopkins. Atkinson across the line. Nikitin has joined the rush. Prout is up high. And now retreats. Nikitin moving in. Fires a shot. Dubnyk the save. Rebound. Walked away by the Oilers. Down to 2 seconds of the Wisniewski penalty. Jackets are on the power play with a little over a minute. Oilers dump in. Jackets will get the power play unit out. Oilers change up the kill. Here's Dalton Prout. Races down that right side. Sweeps deep into the zone. Boone Jenner on the poke check. Throws it in front off a stick. Wisniewski dropping it back to Ryan Murray. Murray with a pair of power play goals. Shot was blocked. And a break here. Eberle comes. Puts the brakes on. Eberle knocked off the puck by Foligno. Great work by Nick Foligno.
Great hockey
Break
play.
wide. Takes it back from Johansson. Johansson settles it back. Wisniewski shot missing the mark. Ryan Murray at the left point. Less than 13 minutes left. Here's Foligno. Wisniewski, traffic in front, and it's drilled wide. Jenner standing in front of Dubnyk. He saw that puck coming and quickly darted out of the way.
Can't blame him.
Not at all. Jenner will head off. 12:35 left. We all know Wisniewski's got that heavy shot. Like to get it on the net and finally get a goal on the power play. He's got 8 assists. 12:22 left. Final seconds. And the Hemsky penalty in front. Dubnyk to stop. Outsteps Hemsky. Oilers have killed it off. Both teams with 5 power play opportunities. The difference, the Jackets have converted on 2 of theirs. Belov. Chased behind the net. Umberger winning the battle. Throws it in front. Oilers will play it. Hemsky. Perron. Back for Hemsky. Jackets break it up. Hemsky races off into the corner. Cycles out. Jack Johnson draped Hemsky along the wall, enabling Como to walk it to center. On to Letestu with Umberger. The 3 cross the line. Putting the brakes on is Letestu. Waits. Sends it behind the net where Como will play it. Late Como. Jack Johnson. Johnson just tosses into the corner. Dubnyk out of the net to play. Grabeshka throws it up the wing. Como dropping the Oiler player along the wall. And there's going to be a penalty. Arcobello knocked down. Como will go to the box. 6th time tonight. The Blue Jackets will be shorthanded. And now, here's tonight's AT&T Rewind. For that, let's head to Boston for a nationally televised affair this afternoon between the New York Rangers and the host Bruins. We pick up the action in the third. Boston trailing 2-1.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was one heck of a hockey game. Afternoon tilt. You see Brad Marchand. He pulls up and finds Bergeron in the slot. That's Bergeron 135 of period number 3. And then the howitzer. You see Zdeno Chara. He winds up about 105 plus miles an hour. That's in the back of the net, and that proved to be the game winner.
Short-handed. Anisimov with Johansson. Moves in, looks for Johansson. The pass was behind him. Como going off, as we mentioned, prior to the break. 2 minutes for boarding at 8:28. And the Jackets will clear. Johansson sends it down. Odd man rush for the Jackets short-handed. And you know what? If you look at these 6 power plays, to this point in time, the Jackets have had the better scoring chances a couple of times while short-handed. They've moved up ice effectively, but couldn't find the back of the net. The Jackets have 3 short-handed goals on the season. Dubnyk out of the net to play. Perron down that left side, takes the pass, chips it by the Jackets defender Wisniewski. Ryan Murray there trying to hold off Nugent Hopkins. It goes off his skate, and the Jackets are able to clear. 1:05 left in the Como penalty.
Nice job by the penalty killers. Again, they are on top of the play. As soon as that puck is turned over, it's right back and out of the zone. Their clears have been excellent.
End of the second period, Michigan leading Ohio State in the first Big Ten matchup of the ice hockey season. Both Ohio State goals coming on the power play by Max McCormick. Puck thrown to the point. Grabeshka. Chased by R.J. Umberger, the former Buckeye. Far side. Oilers rifle it. Jackets block it, and Wisniewski sends it right down in on Dubnyk with less than 30 seconds left in the power play. Yakupov walking in. Yakupov backhands a shot. Bobrovsky the stop, and Nikitin sweeps it away. Atkinson shovels it out to center. Final 12 seconds. Oilers come again. Ryan Smith. Smith looks rink wide. Yakupov shot over top of the net there by Sam Gagner. 9:35 left in the period. Down to 2 seconds of the Como penalty. Como standing to the bench. Walks out. Grabeshkov. Hemsky. Ales Hemsky. Swept into the corner. Gagne from a sharp angle. And it finds the back of the net. Gagne walks out of the corner. Just threw it at the net. And it was redirected. I believe it went off a Blue Jacket in front of Bobrovsky. He loses another shutout bid in the third period. This is the third one of recent play.
Well, there's a better angle of it. I've got a feeling Smith might have got a stick on it.
I think it went off to Keaton, but we'll get one more look at it and see from that point in time. But anyway, you look at it. It looked like Gagne got the goal, and I believe it went off to Keaton. We'll wait for it officially. Nonetheless, Bobrovsky loses another third period shutout bid. And that's 3 in recent memory. Goal being reviewed right now as we get a look at the overhead.
No, right off of Smith, and then it hit the inside pad of Bobrovsky. And we'll see if the credit goes to Smith or Gagne by forcing the front of the net.
Ference. Cross ice for Petrie. 4-1. Blue Jackets lead. And of course, that goal came at even strength seconds after the Como penalty. Gagne gets credit for the goal. Arcapello, cross ice. There's a shot, and it sails wide of the net. Skilly, who's chipped in with his second goal in 3 games, dumps in. The Jackets change up. Gagne from Hemsky and Grabeshkov at 10:36. Eberle drilled there by Jenner. Petrie below the goal line, trying to hold off Jenner. Those two continue to fence. Nugent Hopkins, right wing, looks to walk out of the zone. Jenner is all over him, dropping him to the ice. Johansson, loose puck played there by Wisniewski. James Wisniewski hits Foligno. Foligno dancing away from Grabeshkov, hangs onto that puck, and now chips it off the glass with Calvert in pursuit. Dubnyk has come on in relief of Brizgalov, was not giving up a goal here in the third period. And a left wing pass for Gagne. Slides it cross ice. Gagne gets it back, walks into the line. His goal gets the Oilers on the board. Hemsky away from Nikitin. Jones below the goal line. Gagne backhands, far side of the ice. Played there by Calvert, lifted up and out. Grabeshkov stepping up, but the Jackets are able to chip it in. Cam Atkinson.
That's what they've got to continue to do. Puck to the neutral zone, give them a diet of 200 feet and then some.
At the line, puck carried in by Gagne. Jackets chop it away from him. Blake Como had it briefly. Now comes back. Some help here. Down that right side from Letestu. Como right there behind, but the puck right from wide of the net there by Mark Letestu. As we approach the 13-minute mark, David Perron out of the wing for Yakupov. Speeds in. Cut off by Bobrovsky. Puck bounced off into the corner. Prout rims it around the wall. Stepping up here now, Nick Schultz throws behind the net for Ryan Smith. Smith looks to the wing. Perron tied up by R.J. Umberger. Jackets lifted up and out. Lumbering back and making the play there is Bellar.
Oh, good job there by Umberger. You win that one-on-one along the wall, and you're able to get a clear, and then a full line change.
Full line change indeed. Jackets have that fourth trio out there now. Drop pressures out there with Chaput and Skilly, who wins a battle along the wall. Nice move there by Skilly. Nugent Hopkins losing his stick as he tried to walk out of the zone. Ryan Smith tosses it back to his own blue line. Trop had a stick on it with a delayed penalty upcoming. Yet another power play. Another penalty against the Blue Jackets. Skilly goes off this time. 7th power play for Edmonton. Back here at Nationwide, Jackets lead 4-1. They're going to have to kill off another penalty, but not before we show you tonight's Big Lots Big Play.
Now you go back to the first 10 minutes of that hockey game. The Jackets want to get on the board quickly. Calvert does a nice job of curling up, and then the puck becomes available to number 19, Ryan Johansson. He finds the back of the net for his 9th of the year. That made it a 1-0 game.
That was his team-leading night. He's added an assist to tie James Wisniewski in points on the season. Penalty, Skilly for slashing. So the Oilers back on the power play for the 7th time tonight. They're 0 for 6 with 6 shots. They scored seconds after the previous Blue Jackets penalty. Yakupov carries into the zone. Calvert gets the stick on it to knock it away from the young Edmonton Oiler. And the Jackets then are able to clear. Dubnyk dropping it behind the net. Perron will lead the rush up ice. The former St. Louis Blue. Acquired in a trade with the Blues this summer. The 4th of 5 forwards employed here on the power play. The Oilers attempt to get back in this hockey game. Letestu, James Wisniewski, that's Smith. Unable to play that puck and got away from him. Letestu and R.J. Umberger walk up the ice. Umberger moving in. Umberger trying to cut to the net. Circles. Hangs onto that puck. Effectively killing off some of that power play time for Edmonton. Now down to 45 seconds. Perron. Justin Schultz comes on. The former Wisconsin Badger drops it back. Left wing feed. Nugent Hopkins drops there for Taylor Hall. Hall looking for Perron. Nugent Hopkins unable to keep it in. Jackets shovel it out. Less than 30 seconds remain. Eberle across the line. Bump there by Como. Back for Justin Schultz. Pass a little high. Knocked down. Nugent Hopkins waiting patiently. Taylor Hall. Here's Eberle with a shot and a goal. Oh my. Eberle's got a great wrist shot, and evidence of that right there. The power play goal cuts the deficit to 2 with 4:21 left.
It's a cross-ice pass that makes it all happen. You get inside the zone, they set up shop, and when you can look for a guy like Eberle on that backside, and you can see right now going right through the seam, right across the ice, and Eberle, he turns, he fires, beats Bobrovsky on that high glove side. Again, that pulls it within 2. Still a lot of time on this clock, 4:21. Maybe a little sense of urgency here right now. Short, sweet, get the puck deep, and get back to the forecheck.
Eberle's 10th, team leading 10th. He leads them in points with 23. Jackets come in, and it goes off the skate of Dubnyk and wide. Anisimov out there with Atkinson, and Matt Calvert is tied up at the side of the net. Jackets a little frustrated there, no call. Atkinson dropped to the ice. Dubnyk is down, and he'll cover up. So, 4:03 remaining. Jackets by 2. Bill, how about the Ford game summary?
Well, you go back to period number 1. That Johansson goal got things rolling. And then Anisimov, Foligno, and Skilly in period number 3 made it a 4-0 game. And then 2 goals by the Edmonton Oilers, just a little over 5 minutes here in period number 3, have made it respectable. It's a 4-2 game.
Well, again, you cannot continue to give this explosive hockey club, the Oilers, power play opportunities. Period. From the draw, Prout chopped into the corner. Letestu edges it along, looking there for Blake Como. Belov drops him to the ice. Less than 4 minutes left in regulation. Jones heads up. Bounces one wide of the Blue Jackets net. Nikitin trimmed around the wall. Petrie stepping up. Drilled there by Como. Coach Richards has employed this line with a great deal of regularity here, particularly period number 3. Jones trying to glove it. Loose puck picked up by the Oilers and hammered in by Arcobello. Como unable to clear. Second attempt. Again, Oilers failed to clear, or rather the Blue Jackets failed to clear. The Oilers have it in the offensive zone and themselves pass it out. Belov hands to Petrie. A little more than 3 minutes left. Loose puck. Johansson sends it towards the net. Block. Bouncing puck. Belov Turning away. Now deals to the left wing boards for Yakupov. Yakupov walks into his own end. Drops a pass there for Sam Gagner. The return feed. Yakupov first across the line. No. Hemsky was. That's why there's an offside. Time for tonight's Ohio Health Great Save, and we need a few more of these.
Now you go back to period number 1. Again, Ryan Smith does a nice job on the defense, a little toe drag, and then directs it towards the net. You see that right pad of Bobrovsky. It is flush to the ice to be able to make that save.
Nugent Hopkins, Artem Anisimov, the draw outside the Blue Jackets end of the ice. Eberle carries in, and Anisimov gets it right back and flips it backhand. Grabeshkov, chased by Atkinson. Grabeshkov leads the rush. Taylor Hall knocks it down, crossing the line. Dump behind. Nugent Hopkins tries to get a stick on it. 2:20 left. Taylor Hall back here for Grabeshkov. 6 skaters on for the Oilers. Dubnyk on the bench. Shot off the wing. Bobrovsky to stop. Picked up by Eberle. Eberle to Taylor Hall. Pounding his stick on the ice. Wanted that puck. Kept in here by Perron. Perron drops it. Justin Schultz. Grabeshkov dances at the line. Cross ice. Atkinson can't clear. Jackets will the second time as Atkinson's able to send it back into Edmonton territory. 1:45 remaining. Long stretch pass. Taylor Hall on there to David Perron. Right back for Taylor Hall. Tossed deep into Jackets territory. Johansson tried to chop it out. Foligno's got it. Nick Foligno with Boone Jenner. Jenner holding his own as he was hit along the boards. Yakupov unable to clear. Standing in front of the net, Taylor Hall acting as the unofficial netminder here with Dubnyk on the bench. Left wing pass for Yakupov. There is Wisniewski, sends it to center. 1:12 left. Hemsky dropping it back. Petrie for Perron. David Perron trying to hit Hemsky at the line. Jenner gets it back. Boone Jenner, great shift, shoots. Oh, he just missed the empty net.
Smart play, though. He made sure he got across that red line so it would not be an icing call.
Less than a minute to go. Like to see that youngster rewarded. Looking for his first goal since his return. There's Bobrovsky to stop. Rebound with a scramble in front. Bobrovsky can't get to it. Now Wisniewski chips it off the wall. Played here by Foligno deep into Edmonton territory. Justin Schultz trying to outrace R.J. Umberger. Deep on the forecheck. 3 Oilers are there defending. Puck to Umberger. Blocked in front. Now Como's got it. Less than 30 left. Jackets deep on the forecheck. Trying to hem these Oilers in their own zone. Final seconds ticking off the clock. And again, the Jackets shovel it deep. Perron steps to the line. The crowd here stand as one at Nationwide. As the Blue Jackets in the final seconds here. Gagner save Bobrovsky down to 2. And the Jackets win this one. Holding on for a 4-2 victory despite 2 third-period goals by the Oilers. And a 6th attacker with the net pulled for better than the final 2 minutes. But the crowd on hand salute the Blue Jackets. Victorious here, picking up their 5th home ice victory and their 10th of the season. 4-2 the final. The difference, a pair of power play goals. We'll be back to wrap it up. Jackets head to Boston for a Saturday night affair at the TD Garden.